call to order the Douglasville City Council Legislative Work Session for tonight, which is Thursday, November the 13th, 2025. Our invocation will be done by the esteemed Pastor James Harper of First Presbyterian Church of Douglasville, and then we'll have our Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by the Mayor Pro Tem City Council Member Terry Miller. Please stand for the invocation.
It's good to see y'all. Let me just compliment somebody. I'm not sure who's in charge of Christmas lights around this city, but whoever it is does a fantastic job, and I really appreciate y'all making that possible. I mean, I love the city anyway, but this time of year, it just looks really awesome. So thank you for that. Well done. Let me pray for you. Well, Lord our God, we come tonight with thankful hearts, thankful to recognize all the ways that we are blessed people, we have an abundance, and we're just grateful for that. We pray that you would teach all of us to live out of that abundance with grateful hearts and grateful eyes and grateful actions. Thank you for the staff of this city and for the way they labor behind the scenes and just do great work, and I pray that they would have all the resources and provisions and stamina they need for the work, and I pray they find joy in that. I thank you for these elected leaders and for their desire to seek the best for this city, and I pray that you would tonight give them all the wisdom they need. We know we are limited in our understanding and limited in knowledge and limited in power, but you have no limitations, and I pray that you would give them all they need tonight to do their work well and to follow you well and seeking the good that you have for this community. And we pray these things in Christ's name. Amen. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, for leading us in the pledge, and thank you, Pastor Harper, for those beautiful words of encouragement and thanksgiving. Hopefully we're all paying attention. It was very inspiring. My name is Rochelle Robinson. I'm Mayor of the City of Douglasville. I'd like to welcome you to the Douglasville Legislative Work Session. This is a work session where agenda items are presented for discussion only, and no official action will be taken tonight. Official action will be taken, however, on Monday at our 6 p.m. Voting meeting. If the business you're here for is not listed as an agenda item, there will be ample time under the agenda item comments from citizens and delegates for you to discuss your business. There are a few protocol items I need to make you aware of before we start the meeting this evening. I'm asking you to please listen closely so there will be no misunderstanding on how the meeting will be conducted this evening. I ask that you please keep your comments and presentations on a professional level, dealing with the facts that are important for this governing body to make our decisions. We will not accept comments that are considered by the chair to be of a personal attack on any individual or group of individuals. You will receive a warning from the chair if you deviate from this requirement. A second deviation will result in a request for you to leave the premises. Only one person speaking at a time. Please do not applaud, react to speakers, speak from the audience, cheer or carry on a conversation with others, or be disruptive in any way in the meeting. When you're at the podium, please address your concerns and comments to myself or the committee chairperson. I'll remind you that we are only required to accept public comments during the required public hearings. We do not accept public comments during after the public hearing portion. We accept public comments on the items that we feel is ample. Let me see, but we remain in order. If you have any items that you would like to discuss that are not part of the public agenda, just comments from citizens and delegates, please don't bring up items that were discussed during the public hearing portion. If you have a cell phone or electronic device, we ask that you please put those in silent mode or turn those off until after the meeting so they will not be disruptive. This is how the agenda items will be handled. The committee chairperson will read their agenda item. Then that person representing that agenda item or applicant will make his or her presentation. Myself and council members will possibly ask questions to help us receive the information so that we can make a decision on Monday when we vote. After that, the committee chairperson will ask for comments or statements from the audience. If this is a public hearing, there is 20 minutes for those in favor, 20 minutes for those in opposition, and each person has 5 minutes to speak. If you'd like to speak, please fill out a speaker card They're blue cards, and you can hand them to the Assistant City Manager to my left, Ms. Karen Callen. She will give them to the clerk's office to Ms. Candace James, our Assistant City Clerk, and she will put that information into the official record. Prior to approaching the podium, of course, fill your name and address out. And when you come to the podium, you should restate. I know you fill it out on the form, but we ask that you would please say, my name is so-and-so, and this is my address for the record. Each person has one opportunity to speak. This is not question and answer format or debate going back and forth, but a formal format that gives you an opportunity to make public comments. And if you need some information to follow up, staff will respond to you later. I think that's it. If you have any printed material, please give that to our city clerk, and she will make copies and disseminate it to us. Now, during the comments from citizens and delegates, we will not address zoning items. Those should have been discussed during the public hearing, so we ask you not to bring those items back to us. Section for those public hearings, allow those comments outside of public hearing, violates the Georgia State Zoning Procedure Act. So again, if you have information that you'd like to talk to us about during public zoning, do that at that time, but don't rehash and bring that information back at the end of the meeting. I know that's a whole lot of information I just said. Hopefully we're all on the same page. We do have printed copies if you'd like to have a paper copy outside of the agenda. If not, you can follow me on the screens or screens around the room. So now we will move on. Let's see, we do a refresh for our meeting. And the first committee is Economic Development Committee. That's chaired by Mayor Pro Tem City Councilmember Terry Miller.
Thank you, Madam. Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business under the Economic Development Committee at this time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. Finance Committee is chaired by Councilmember Chris Watts.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business tonight under Finance.
Thank you so much. We'll move on then to the next committee, which is Housing and Community Affairs. That is chaired by Councilmember Howard Estes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The Housing and Community Affairs Committee has no business this evening.
Thank you, sir. So now we do have business under Legislative and Intergovernmental Committee, and that's chaired by Mayor Pro Tem City Councilmember Terry Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We do have
You're
several
welcome.
items under the Legislative and Intergovernmental Committee at this point.
Yes, sir.
First is to consider an action by motion to terminate the lease agreement between the Douglasville Convention and Conference Center Authority and the City of Douglasville for properties known as 6697 and 6701 Church Street, Douglasville, Georgia 30134, being as known as tax parcel numbers 0016015015C017 and 0016015015C014, conditioned upon the affirmative vote of the Douglasville Convention and Conference Center Authority to terminate the lease agreements. And our powerhouse team of Chelsea Jackson and Miranda Jordan will fill us in on those details.
I like that powerhouse.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Chelsea Jackson, 6695 Church Street. Currently, the Douglasville Convention and Conference Center Authority owns the properties at 6697 Church Street, which is the former Douglasville Wellness Center for the city employees, as well as 6701 Church Street, which is currently the City Hall Annex, which houses the IT department and Community Relations Department for a few more days. As you know, these properties are part of the footprint of the proposed City Hall construction project. This item will terminate the current lease agreement between the authority and the City of Douglasville. On November 6th, the authority met and approved to terminate the lease, and attached you will see a signed resolution to transfer the property if council approves the termination of the lease. This is all housekeeping to ensure that we take the proper steps to transfer all properties within those footprints, as well as those parcels, to start the construction for the new City Hall project. And I can answer any questions that you all may have.
Okay, and just to be clear, so folks understand, those functions that were in those existing buildings will be folded into the new City Hall
That is
when that's
correct.
constructed, so that we will not lose those spaces. I'll open the floor for any questions or comments from members of the council or the mayor. They seem to be pretty straightforward. No questions? Okay. Then I will move on to the next item, which I think the two of you both have as well, and that is adopt a resolution to accept title to the properties known as 6697 and 6701 Church Street, Douglasville, Georgia 30134 from the Douglasville Convention and Conference Center Authority by warranty deed. And Ms. Jackson and Jordan again.
Yes, so this item goes along with the previous item. This is a resolution for the city to accept the title of the properties at 6697 Church Street and 6701 Church Street. And it's from the Convention and Conference Center Authority, and it will be by warranty deed. And this is also part of housekeeping to ensure that we obtain and accept the title of those parcels for the new construction of City Hall.
Okay. Any questions or comments from Councilwoman Miller? You look like you're about to say something.
No, I was just wondering if we could place them on the consent agenda.
Oh, I will take that under advisement
Thank you,
as
sir.
I read the third item on here.
Thank you, kind sir.
Okay, no other questions or comments? Okay, and then the last item is under legislative intergovernmental is the item C, authorize the mayor to execute the memorandum of understanding with Douglas County for interagency coordination through the Unify platform, outlining the sharing of data and workflows with defined roles and security safeguards. And Ms. Katrina Harley will help us with that.
Good evening, Madam Mayor,
Good evening.
Mayor Pro
Director.
Tem, City Council. Katrina Harley, Douglas County E911 Director. This memorandum of understanding is essentially between E911 and the Douglas County Sheriff's Office. However, since 911 holds the information for Douglasville Police Department and Douglas County Fire EMS, we wanted to ensure that all partners invested in this and all stakeholders were clear to share information. And so this simply kind of tidies that up.
Okay. That was short and sweet. Okay, do we have any questions or comments? Madam Mayor, you do.
I do. Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. It's good to see you, Director Harley, looking beautiful.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. So are we all on the same system when we share the information, or how is that?
So what this does is it allows a computer-aided dispatch to computer-aided dispatch interface so that the sheriff's office can see calls for service for 911 and 911 can see calls for service for the sheriff's office. What that does is it allows us to bridge the gap of a more expedient response, since that dispatch center does exist, and 911 currently, if calls for service are in unincorporated areas of Douglas County for law enforcement, those calls are then transferred to the sheriff's office. And so, but if somebody dials or texts 911, then those 911 operators are first taking in that information. So it will allow the sheriff's office to see those calls faster,
Okay.
so that if there's a delay in that transfer, they'll automatically see the calls. And then if there's a need for mutual aid or something of that sort, they'll also see that, so that we can get started faster instead of toning them out if Douglasville Police Department needs them, or if they need Douglasville Police Department. So it just kind of tidies up our emergency services in Douglas County.
Okay, is it helping us to get closer to, I can't remember the name of the next gen.
So this is totally separate.
Oh, it is?
Yes, this is. This is just, the county wanted to do this to button up those services between 911 and the sheriff's office. And so this is what this
Okay, so that's different from
application
next
is.
gen.
Yes.
Okay. It sounds like it's helping us get, a more unified and.
It helps.
helped.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am, it helps.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Mayor Pro Tem. Thank you, Councilman Estes. I couldn't think of next gen.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Any other questions or comments? I step back for a moment and realize that CAD in your world means something very different than CAD in my architectural world.
Yes, computer-aided dispatch.
Okay. All right, well, seeing, I'm going to go on a limb and assume that there'll be no objections if I place all three of these items together on the consent agenda. I'm waiting to hear dissent. Okay. We'll make that so.
Thank you.
All right, Madam Mayor, that's all
Thank
we
you.
have under the Legislative Intergovernmental Committee at this time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, and thank you, Director Harley, and our Deputy City Manager, Ms. Jackson, Ms. Chelsea Jackson, for those items. We'll move on then to item number 9, which is Personnel and Organization Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Howard Estes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We
You're
have a
welcome.
few items this evening.
Yes, sir.
First up, item 25-464, adopt a resolution authorizing one-time holiday season payments to City of Douglasville employees for 2025. And Ms. Hampton will explain this to us.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chair. This resolution supports a longtime tradition for the City of Douglasville to provide holiday seasonal bonuses to City of Douglasville employees. The amount is the same as last year, and the money has been budgeted into the fiscal year 26.
Very good. Thank you. Any questions or comments? I will just say I'm really happy that we are able to provide this for the employees again. They go above and beyond all year, and we are happy to be able to give a little extra around the end of the year for the Christmas season. So seeing no questions or comments, I would like to add this to the consent agenda for Monday and move on to item 25-436. Adopt a resolution authorizing the mayor to sign contracts for 2026 city-sponsored employee insurance benefits and to state the anticipated city contribution for each benefit with the following providers. Number one, the Benecon Group, covering stop loss, Meritain for medical, Admin America for the FSA, DCA, and COBRA, Humana for the Medicare Advantage plans, Standard Insurance Company for dental, vision, employer paid life, and long-term disability, voluntary life, and STD, and then ProCare RX / Veracity RX for pharmacy. And we have Ms. Callan, and Ms. Gilder is still here to go through this.
Thank you, Chairman Estes. You've heard the detailed version of the presentation from MSI, and Ashley Gilder here is with MSI. She will go ahead and do a condensed version of the presentation, but I would also like to point to your attention that in your packet you have a schedule for the education meetings on November 21st and November 22nd, and open enrollment is set to begin December 1st through December 5th. And then I will turn it over to Ms. Gilder to go through her brief presentation, and then we have 3 additional items after this that are also related. Thank you.
All right. Good evening. Thanks for having me again. I will make this less painful this time. But I am, again, with MSI Benefits Group as the benefits broker for the city. We are ultimately responsible for the overall management, marketing, and services for the employee benefits program. So the city does offer tremendous benefits, a very generous benefits package. However, there are some benefit enhancements that we have identified for your consideration, which we have included in this PowerPoint presentation here. So this is just a rundown of all of the benefits that the city currently offers. The health plan through Meritain, the Medicare Advantage plan through Humana, and the dental plan through Standard are all up for renewal. However, we have also looked at every other single benefit here, like I said, to identify plan enhancements that we will review here shortly. This is just an overall breakdown of the health plan spend. You'll see last year claims were above where we ideally wanted to see them, producing a loss ratio of 120%. This year, the plan is running more favorably. However, there are some, large claimants of concern that is still leading the underwriters to produce an increase to the health plan. Now, on an annual basis, we do market the health plan. So this includes soliciting proposals from all viable options. And our goal is not to change carriers every year, but to really just ensure that we are securing the best and most competitive pricing using those other proposals as leverage, which we have done here for the health plan. So this is a recap here. You see the health plan currently, city paying roughly $3.4 million. Like I said, the health plan, the incumbent carriers did agree to reduce their fixed costs by over $100,000 as the result of negotiations. However, it does still produce an overall increase of 25%. Now, the option that we are proposing here tonight is to renew with Meritain as the medical plan administrator. However, we are proposing that we change the pharmacy benefits program. So instead of CVS Caremark, we're proposing that move to ProCare, also known as Veracity RX. So you'll see here that there is projected claim savings in excess of $400,000 through this move, and we will cover that in the next slide, but it does produce a savings not only to the plan, but also to members. So the pharmacy savings approach here, it's really derived from three primary buckets. The biggest opportunities, though, are the select and non-select pharmacy network. So employees will still be able to fill their medication at any pharmacy that they would like to. If they go to a select pharmacy, they will have no copay. So instead of the $15 that they're being charged today for generic medications, we're proposing that be changed to $0 at select pharmacies. Again, that is any pharmacy outside of 4. So the non-select pharmacies are CVS, Target, Walgreens, and Rite Aid. This is simply because they charge more than all the other pharmacies out there. So we're proposing that members who choose to fill their medications at those pharmacies can do so, but they will continue paying the same copay as they do today at that $15 generic copay. But again, they will now have the opportunity to pay nothing for their generics by visiting a select pharmacy. The other two big buckets here are going to be the personal importation program and the manufacturer assistance program. These are just for those very high cost specialty drugs. So there have been 11 members identified for these programs that are on these specialty medications. And the personal importation program allows those medications to be imported from Canada. The exact same medication that members are getting today will arrive in the mail and they will pay nothing. So instead of paying 25% up to $350 per month, they will pay $0 through this program. There's also the manufacturer assistance program. So there are companies set up out there as foundations to provide funding for these very high cost specialty meds, but you cannot tap into them through a normal health plan arrangement. That is where Veracity comes into play, and they work alongside the member to allow them to access this funding so that, again, they can obtain their high cost specialty drug at little to no cost. So the biggest thing here is going to be education. Our team will be on site 2 days next week for education meetings, and then back out the following week to really explain this process. And proactive outreach will also be made to those identified members so that they can begin that enrollment process for those two programs here. Again, it is 11 members, and the projected savings is in excess of $400,000, and employees will pay nothing for those high-cost specialty drugs. This just further dives down into the projected savings here for the pharmacy with the, like I just said, the updated claims have identified in excess of $400,000. Now, other enhancements that we are proposing are that we remove the teledoc visit copay. So instead of members being charged $30 or $25 for teledoc, we're proposing that they pay nothing for that. And then removing, of course, that generic drugs copay when visiting a select pharmacy. We are also proposing that we add the nurse line. This will provide members with 24/7 access to a nurse. And then we are proposing a minimal increase to employee deductions. Those employee deductions are illustrated here. This does still assume the 75-25 split. So very generous contribution by the city, with the city continuing to absorb the majority of the increase, with the overall average dollar increase to employees being that $29.13. For the flexible spending account and dependent care accounts, we have heard quite a bit of feedback from members who have not had the best experience with MedCom and having cards shut off. So we are proposing that we transition to a different carrier beginning in January to Admin America to hopefully improve that overall experience. We have a large block of business with them, and they have been a tremendous partner of ours. So we will explain that process to employees and, remind them that they will need to make a new FSA election if they wish to continue that benefit. Medicare Advantage, we were able to negotiate this renewal down with Humana to the 11.64%, again proposing that the city continue to contribute 75%, producing an overall increase to retirees of $5 per month for retiree only, and an increase of $10 for retiree plus spouse. The dental renewal here, so we are proposing that the plan renew with the standard. However, we are recommending that there now be 2 options offered to employees. This will allow employees to still have the same exact benefit that they have today if they choose to stay enrolled in the basic plan, or they would be allowed to buy up to the buy-up plan, which does have a higher annual maximum, and this would produce an overall increase to the city of the $21,529, again, with the city continuing to cover 75% of the overall cost. Vision, we are recommending that this change from Anthem to the standard, just in effort to consolidate carriers and have a more positive experience for members. So you'll see here where we are proposing a minimal increase to the benefits. So instead of having a $130 allowance for elective contacts and frames, we're proposing that be increased to $250. Again, the city will continue the same share that you're contributing today for a $418 increase to the city and a minimal increase to employees for that more improved benefit plan. Employer paid life and disability, this is provided by the city at no cost to employees, and we are recommending that for the life and accidental death and dismemberment benefit, that this be changed to 1 times employees' annual salary to a maximum of $100,000 and a minimum of $25,000. This will ensure that no member receives less than what they have today, with many more benefiting and receiving a higher benefit in the event of a death. We're also proposing that the dependent benefit be increased from $1,000 to $5,000 for a minimal increase to the city. With the employer-paid long-term disability plan, currently the city provides 50% to a maximum monthly benefit to $1,000, with a voluntary plan that employees can elect with a higher maximum benefit. We are proposing that we eliminate the voluntary plan and the city cover that higher benefit with the maximum monthly benefit of $7,500 for an overall increase to the city of $16,938. Voluntary life and disability, this is 100% employee paid. And you'll see here where we are just proposing that we add the accidental death and dismember benefit to those life benefits. So in the event, of a death, that benefit is doubled for a very small increase to employees. And spouses will also have a higher guaranteed issue at open enrollment. So instead of requiring health questions above 30,000, health questions will now just be required above 50,000 for spouses. So a much better and stronger benefit there. Voluntary short-term disability, we are recommending that benefits start sooner for short-term disability. So instead of employees having to wait 30 days, under the new arrangement, they will wait just 7 days, and it's actually a decrease to their premium. So I know I went through that much quicker, but hopefully it wasn't too fast. I know it's a lot to digest, but here is just a quick recap of all of the changes we're proposing. Again, the biggest change being the change in the pharmacy benefits. Education will be key, but also removing the teledoc visit copay, the generic drugs copay, and then adding the nurse line. So a lot of enhancements there with a minimal increase to employees. Flexible spending account and dependent care accounts, proposing that move to Admin America. Medicare Advantage plan renewing at a minimal increase to retirees. Dental plan renewing, offering that dual plan option to give employees choice with a higher annual maximum. And then vision, consolidating that to one carrier, so changing it to the standard, but increasing the contacts and frames allowances, again, for a very minimal increase. Then we move on to the employer-paid life and long-term disability, so enhancing the benefits there that are provided to the employees at no cost. And then those minimal changes there with the voluntary life and short-term disability, but adding just a stronger benefit to ensure that employees are properly protected. And then the voluntary AFLAC plans will have no changes. So like I said, I know that was a lot, but I am done. That is all I have for you.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
Gilder. There were no questions before, but we will check again to see if anybody has any questions now. Okay, seeing none. I hope the employees will take advantage of the educational meeting possibilities. There are a few changes, but MSI is great at explaining them, so take advantage of those opportunities. And that being said, I would like to place this on the consent agenda for Monday's meeting. And thank you, Ms. Gilder. Now you don't have to come back on Monday. Okay, we have 3 more items, and they are almost identical. So Ms. Callan is can we walk through all of them at once? Since it's just a difference. So first of all, item 25-465, authorize the mayor to sign a letter terminating the city's FSA, DCA, and COBRA administration agreement with Medical Cost Containment Services, Inc., effective January 1, 2026. Item 25-466, authorize the mayor to sign a letter terminating the city's vision plan administration agreement with Blue Cross Blue Shield Healthcare Plan of Georgia, Inc., effective January 1, 2026. And item 25-467, authorize the mayor to sign a letter terminating the city's pharmacy benefits administration agreement with Meritain CVS Caremark, effective January 1, 2026. Ms. Callan.
Yes, thank you, Chairman Estes. So these 3 items for MedCom, we are to implement the changes that MSI and staff has recommended. For MedCom, we are going to go to Admin America, so we're terminating the agreement with MedCom. Blue Cross Blue Shield, we're moving to the standard, so terminating the agreement with Blue Cross Blue Shield. And then CVS Caremark to Veracity, so terminating the agreement with CVS.
That was easy enough. Any questions or comments from anyone? Seeing none, let's put all 3 of these items on the consent agenda for Monday. Thank you, Ms. Callan. And Madam Mayor, that is all we have for the Personnel and Organization Committee this evening.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate information you've brought forward. Thank you to MSI, Ms. Gilder, and our Assistant City Manager, Ms. Callan. We appreciate you briefing us on these items. We'll move on then to item number 10 on the agenda, Planning and Development Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Nicole Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome.
We do have one item this evening.
Yes,
That
ma'am.
is to refer to the Planning Commission a text amendment to the Unified Development Ordinance to remove the requirement for special land use permit for short-term rentals. Why can I not say that tonight? Application by the City of Douglasville, and Mr. Dana Gray is going to go over this item with us.
Okay.
Good evening. Dana
Good
Gray,
evening.
6695 Church Street. So this is an application for a text amendment to remove the requirement for a special land use permit for short-term rentals. We are proposing a stringent permit application along with a business license. This will include inspections of the properties as well. The short-term rental from our code 2.02 allowed uses requires a special land use permit for R2, R3, R4, R5, TCMU, and NRC. If approved, the short-term rental will be allowed in those zoning designations. Most short-term rentals are affiliated with companies like Airbnb, Vibro, and Expedia, who expedite their bookings. So we have a program called GovOS that is used for short-term rentals, as well as providing a list of all those who are providing that short-term rental service. This program will allow us to keep track of owners, ensuring that they have our application and business license before they conduct business within the city. So our GovOS also has a point and pay program so that when the applicant comes to get that application, they'll be able to pay through GovOS to point and pay. Those services such as Airbnb and Vibro will be paying the tourism tax, the hotel motel tax, So that concludes.
Thank you, Mr. Gray. Sounds like you guys have done a lot of work to ensure that it's going to be a seamless process. Madam Mayor, Council, do you guys have questions of this?
I do.
Madam Mayor?
Thank you so much, Madam Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Gray. I do have a quick question about the short-term rentals. You said that they have to get a business license.
Yes.
Is there a suspense date, or is it annually renewed, or how does that work?
Right now, we're doing per year, and it will be renewed. So they would have to renew the business license like they normally do,
Yes, sir.
along with the application.
For the short-term rental?
Yes.
Now, is that inclusive of, like, if anything, I know you said you were going to do an inspection before, if they have any calls from the police, or that would not be included in that when they do the renewal? You know, sometimes you have people come and they may have we've gotten complaints before about in subdivisions where someone had a short-term rental and there was a party or something and they got called. Do we have any
So
kind of
we're working
stoppers?
on certain offenses that can happen, a one-time fee, a second-time fee. So I guess
Okay,
at
good.
that time of renewal, we would probably review those type of challenges that we had with that particular applicant
Okay.
and weigh in on that application at renewal time.
Okay, good. And so they'll be made aware of that in the beginning. If they have infractions, it could be possibly that they won't have get their license renewed.
That would be part of the application, so they have
Okay.
a list of rules that they have to follow.
Okay.
And they'll be pretty stringent.
All right, because we had, the one lady that came, she had a bunch of rules which were really good to
Correct.
ensure that she had a quality
Yes.
folks come to her short term.
So our goal is to protect the consumer as well as the community. So,
Thank you so much, Mr.
Thank
Gray.
you.
Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Well, if there's no one else. I'm kidding. Okay, Mayor Pro Tem, keep going.
A quick question. Thank you, Madam Chair. The annual renewal, is that based on the calendar year or off the date at which the
We're going to follow
application
we'll probably follow the business license pattern. I'm not too sure when that starts, but
I think that's based on the calendar year.
I do believe so.
So, okay, just like the liquor license as well, the same thing. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
All right, anyone else? Beautiful. Well, thank you so much. That was very thorough. I know we also went over this in committees. If there's no other questions, I would like to place this on the consent agenda. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Gray.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, that's all that we have for planning and development.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Mr. Gray. And Madam Chairwoman, you have Public Improvement and Beautification Committee as well.
Yes, ma'am. We do have one item this evening, and that is to appoint Ms. Kendrick to the Keep Douglasville Beautiful Board, Post 6, to serve a 3-year term expiring December 31st. Ms. Chelsea Jackson's going to go over this with us.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Chelsea Jackson, 6695 Church Street. A few weeks ago, myself, Councilwoman Miller, and a few more staff members, we interviewed Ms. Kendrick for the vacant position on the KDB board. Currently, there are 2 positions that are vacant, Post 6 and 7. This appointment would appoint her to Post 6 for a 3-year term expiring December 31st, 2028.
Thank you. And it was a wonderful interview. One thing that I loved about this applicant is that she's already been volunteering with this specific board, so she's already very familiar with what they do with their meeting times, and she's really excited to help. So you guys, I absolutely feel like she is a great fit for this board. And if it's okay with you all, I would like to place this on the consent agenda. Madam Mayor.
Yes, ma'am. I just wanted to make a statement. Thank you so much for what you do. While we're sitting here, I got a text from Ms. Gertrude, Brenda Grisham. She says, Adopt a Road, Litter Control, Gertrude's House Breast Cancer Support Group. She sent a photo of her. She said she just got the sign today.
Aw.
So thank you for KDB for that. So we appreciate
Wonderful.
it.
They do
what
such
they
good
do.
work.
They do. Thanks.
Are there any questions, though, of you guys of this applicant? Are you okay with placing this one on the consent? Okay, beautiful. Thank you so much, Ms. Jackson. Madam Mayor, that's all that we have this evening for public improvement and beautification.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Deputy City Manager. We'll move on then to the next committee. Is item number 12, which is Public Relations Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Samuel Davis.
No items at this time, thank you.
You're welcome, Councilman Davis. We'll move on to Public Safety Committee. The Vice Chair is Councilmember Watts.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We
You're
have
welcome.
3 items tonight.
Yes, sir.
We're keeping Ms. Jackson busy.
Mm-hmm.
Item A is adopt an ordinance to amend section 10-2C5 of the city's Code of Ordinances to update the open container rules within the city's entertainment district. And Ms. Jackson, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Councilman Watts. Good afternoon again. Chelsea Jackson, Deputy City Manager. If you all recall, a few weeks ago, I came before council in committees for this discussion. So this item is to adopt the ordinance to amend the current process of enacting the open container district. If approved, the proposed ordinance would eliminate the application process for the entertainment district and would allow the district to be open without permit from 11 a.m. to 11:30 p.m. daily. Any beverage being removed from an establishment in the downtown area would be in a transparent plastic cup to not exceed 16 ounces and 1 per person. Also, the subsequent item 25-433 addresses the expansion of the map as well in the entertainment district area, and that's one thing that was discussed as well in your committees a few weeks ago as well. And like I said, it expands the map within that downtown region.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Any questions or comments from council? Yes, Madam Mayor.
I had a quick comment. Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Now, I was not able to go to Huntsville. I was in Ohio, but I understand in Huntsville they had purple cups. So clear cups, you can have some Sprite in the clear cup. I guess you can have it in a purple cup too. But that really, I guess the color of a cup would signify that it's alcohol rather than having a clear cup. Could we change the color, or are we just going to keep it clear?
Well, staff did research, so we did go to Huntsville, and they did have Purple Cup as part of their entertainment district and part of their advertising and marketing for their entertainment district. As it relates to looking around throughout the state, most cities just do a clear, transparent cup, just so you can properly see through it. We looked at cities such as Smyrna, Decatur, Chamblee, and a few more within the metro region, and they all use the clear plastic cup. Anyone removing a cup or wanting to remove an alcoholic beverage from a restaurant, they would need to show their ID to that bartender or to someone in that establishment before they're able to receive a clear plastic cup. And then the cup does not come with a lid or anything on it. Most to-go drinks, if they're non-alcoholic, do come with a lid on top of it and a straw, but this one would not come with a lid or a straw, therefore to prevent them from transporting in their car or transporting for a long period of time.
Okay, that makes sense. The other thing was 11 a.m. to 11:30 p.m. every day, 7 days a week.
Yes, ma'am. So currently, and that's not a new change. So currently, your entertainment district allows for open containers for those times as well, from 11 a.m. to 11:30 p.m. This would just remove the overall application process for the permit and having those applicants come before you all every time they want to enact an entertainment district. And it will eliminate a lot of staff work. And going back to the purple cups as well, that would be a cost on the city as well as on staff to continue to replenish all those cups within the entertainment district area.
Okay, so it's just in the entertainment district?
Yes, ma'am, just within that area.
So it's not all over? Okay, and 11 o'clock on Sunday?
Yes, ma'am, 11:30 p.m.
Ooh-wee.
And that's the current time.
For all our brunch places.
That's true. Champagne for something, okay.
Mimosas.
Okay, that's all I got. I just asked the question. They coming at me, come on.
Any other comments?
I've been pushing for this since the first day I got on council, but yes, we were just in Huntsville, and it works really, really well.
Okay.
People did not abuse it. It really was just if you were finished and you had a little bit of your drink left, you would take it with you. It's not like people are going out and having a party in the street. So I think it's a great thing.
And if I remember correctly, they also had a label on the cups, did they not, in Huntsville?
It was just a purple cup.
No,
It was just plain?
and
I thought
they had a
one.
wide range of different cups
Okay,
too.
maybe
They
it's the
weren't-
company or the bar's name.
They
the restaurant